everyone. I'm super excited to finally be here. I know I missed last week and I was super bummed, but I'm here tonight and we are ready for another episode in Adventures of Comprehension. So we are gearing towards the end of our year. I haven't really thought through what I'm doing for 2020, but I promise you I will not be stopping our Facebook Live. So no worries, just trying to figure out what angle I really want to take. Feel free to leave input if you have an idea. So anyways, my name is Ciera Harris. I am the author at Adventures of Room 129. And every Wednesday, I'm coming to you live to talk all about comprehension. So make sure if you're joining me, drop a comment. Let me know that you're here. I'd love to know where you're from, what grade you teach, and let's see, what's my fun question for the night? Oh, I've got one. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food? Mine is deep fried turkey. It is the best turkey. I look forward to it all year long. My uncles make it, and it is just mouth-watering. So I cannot wait to have that next week. So I hope you're getting excited for the Thanksgiving feast or whatever you do to just enjoy some you time on the holiday break. So what are we talking about tonight? Well, as you can see down here, I think I'm pointing to it correctly, we're going to be talking about engaging mentor texts to teach theme. Theme is one of my favorite reading skills to teach, and I love using picture books to do that. So I'm going to walk you through 5 picture books. These picture books are not your typical go-tos, but they are picture books that are easily found. So your school library probably has them. Your public library in your town probably has them. You may even have them in your library already. But if you don't worry. They are easily found on Amazon and they're super cheap, and I highly recommend grabbing them and getting them in your classroom library, whether for your kids to use or for you to keep back and use to teach theme. These are must-haves. And of course, I do have a freebie for you tonight, and I'll show you what that is in a little bit. So if you want tonight's freebie that does have to do with theme, you're going to want to stay tuned. So in the freebie tonight, you are also going to get a printout that looks like this. It has the covers of all 5 books that we're going to be talking about tonight, as well as a little synopsis of the book and the theme as well. And then when you download this, these covers are all clickable. They'll take you directly to the cheapest place to find them, which I did all the research for you. They're all on Amazon, of course, right? And that is the cheapest place to go and find them. And so each cover, if you click it, it'll take you right to that. It's super fast. So if you want tonight's freebie, which I haven't shown you what else is there, you're just going to need to drop me a comment that says, I want the freebie, and I will give you the link to the freebie, which includes this page as well. Okay? So you don't have to worry about taking notes. You don't have to worry about going and finding the books if you don't have them. I've got it right here for you. Just ask for it. All right? All right, so let's get started. So our first story we're going to be talking about tonight is probably one of the most adorable stories I've read. And I'm probably going to say that for every book because I don't know if you can tell yet, but I love picture books. And so it is called Rot. Yes, I said it, Rot. Rot, the Cutest in the World. Have you read this book? If you haven't, you'll thank me. So this book is about this potato guy, and he is just, well, look at him, right? I mean, isn't he adorable? The kids will get a laugh at this book because it's just hilarious. It's super fast to read. So especially if you're focusing on teaching theme, you know, at the beginning, you don't want these long, deep books that students are really going to have to dig in to comprehend to find the theme. You want to be able to get the story in front of your students quickly. That way you can discuss theme more in detail. So you can see here, we introduce our character. He's a mutant potato, and he loves to eat. He loves contests, and he finds this contest where they're trying to find who's the cutest in the world, right? The cutest in the world. Now, does he look like he should be the cutest in the world? I don't know. So it walks through this whole contest, and you can see who his other contestants are. And we've got this cute little bunny, we've got this kitty cat, and this cute little pink jellyfish, and they doubt him. They doubt him the whole time. But he never loses his confidence, ever. He knows that he can win this contest. He can do it. He does think at some point that maybe he needs to have ears like the rabbit or whiskers like the kitten. But after he sees all this stuff on him, he's like, you know what? No, I don't like it. I like me. I like me. I like who I am, and I'm just going to go out there with confidence, and I'm going to do my thing because I know I can do it. And I bet you can guess what happens. Can you? He wins. He wins the cutest in the world because look who his judges are. I just love the message that is in this story. This rotten apple, he's like, I think I'm in love. He's perfect. It's just adorable. So he wins. The other characters are totally like taken back by it. You can see this guy over here even like creates a unibrow just like our character. It's adorable. And the theme of this book, as you can guess, is definitely confidence. It's a great story to share with your students to show how you need to be confident in yourself, be happy with who you are, and, really know your strengths and work those strengths. And when you're confident with yourself, you can achieve anything. I mean, look at this mutant potato and look at what he can achieve because he had confidence in himself. So my first choice for teaching theme is Rot, the cutest in the world. All right, pick number 2 tonight is a book called 3 Hens and a Peacock. Have you read this one before? So this is an adorable story, and it takes place on a farm where these 3 hens are introduced to a new character, the peacock. And so on this farm, let me see if I can get turned to a page. On this farm, they have this little fruit stand where they sell, obviously, produce from the farm. Everything's normal. Every now and then, someone will drive by and stop to purchase items. But one day, everything changes, and this box is dropped, and we have a new friend on the farm. And it's the peacock, right? And the peacock has no clue what's going on, but he attracts some new visitors. And this new peacock gets people to stop more frequently as they're driving by. The more people that stop means the more people who are buying from the stand, right? That sounds all wonderful. However, we have some angry people on the farm about this. The hens do not like it. The cows do not like it. They think that the peacock is coming in, that he is doing very little work and getting all this attention, while all the other animals are the ones actually doing the work on the farm. These 3 hens especially are not very happy, right? And so they decide that they need to switch places. They need to decide that they need to show the hen, that they need to do the hen's job. They want to get all dolled up. The peacock feels like he's not really contributing to the farm. He's not doing any of the hard work. So he's going to switch places with the hens, and he's going to try to lay the eggs. But you can see what's going to happen, right? So anyways, they get all dolled up. You can see the hens out in the corner. They're trying to attract attention and be the peacock. And the peacock goes in and tries to lay eggs. That does not work out very well. By the end of the story, look at these poor hens. They are wiped. Their feathers are ruffled. They look horrible. They've had a long, hard day on their feet. And they truly feel more respect for the peacock, who, even though his job may not look hard, it is. And the peacock has more respect for what the hens do. And so, it kind of gives students who are reading the message that the grass is not always greener on the other side, and that we should respect what others are doing. Unless we have been in their shoes, we don't know really what it's like. And so it's a deep message, but with a really fun feel to it. And I love this last page because there's another box being dropped off. You can see that something else is about to happen. But again, this is a wonderful book to teach students about respect in a unique way. Not just respecting others as we think about like an everyday thing, but respecting the fact that you don't know what it's like to be them. You don't know what it's like to do their job and do the work day in and day out. So, the grass is not always greener. I can keep going on with some of these things, but respect is really the overall theme that we can get from this text, and it's a great one to share with your students. So make sure you grab that one. All right. Book title number 3 today is Westlandia. This was a book that I came across just in the last few years of being in the classroom, and it was one that I was like, man, I wish I would have had this book, in the previous few years. So you don't have this one. If you have not read it, you're going to want to grab this one as well. So the gist of the book, very quickly, is about this young boy, and at the beginning of the book, I'll show you what he looks like. He looks like a typical boy, but his parents are very worried about him. He's not like the other children in the neighborhood. His parents are worried that he's very distant from other children. He reads all the time. He thinks differently. And summer break is coming up, and what's really going to happen? So the little boy, on the other hand, doesn't have these same feelings. He doesn't care that he is distant. He's happy reading. He is happy doing what he does. And during his summer break, he embraces that. And he ends up building this whole other world called Westlandia in his backyard. And slowly but surely, other people kind of join in. He creates new languages. He creates new foods. He ends up, creating an entire new wardrobe. You can see here the other children are kind of peeking in. And those are the kids who were making fun of him early on in the book, too. So then later in the story, when the summer is ending and he's going back to school, you can see he's still working on his world here. But the summer is ending, he's going back to school, and at that point, he has all of these friends joining him on their way to school as he walks to school. Friends, this book is all about finding happiness in yourself and being happy with who you are. And just knowing that when you embrace, and I'm going to use the word God just because, I wouldn't do this in the classroom, obviously. I'm doing this to you. But embracing who God made you and who you are and finding that happiness inside, then you are going to attract people and friends and people around you who love you for who you are as well. So the overall theme that I would teach with this book is happiness. The little boy, even though other people disliked who we are, even his parents were a little worried, he was happy with who he is, and he went with that, right? And he built this whole new world, and ended up finding a lot of people who respected him and liked him for that as well. So read the book if you haven't. It's amazing. I'm not even doing it justice. So this is definitely one to add to your collection. All right, 2 more books, and then I'm going to show you your freebie. So don't forget, you have to stay tuned for that freebie. That way you know what it is, okay? All right, next story is what I hope you have read. It's called The Empty Pot. And this book is actually, I believe, a Chinese folktale. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it is. It's a Chinese folktale about this little boy. And he, before the story really even starts, it talks about how much he loves flowers and planting flowers in his garden and having a wonderful garden. And so the story goes on, and the emperor is getting older, and he is looking for someone to take his place. And so he ends up putting out a challenge to all the children in the land. And he says, come and get these seeds from me, and whoever can grow the most beautiful flower can take my place. And so all the children from China come from all around the world, and they get the seeds from the emperor, and they go back home. And our little character, he's so confident because he already grows the best flowers in all the land. So he knows this challenge is right up his alley. He can do this. So all the children take the seeds back, and our little character gets started planting. And he does everything he can to get this flower to grow. He waters it, he changes the soil, and it still doesn't grow. He puts better soil, he uses fertilizer, but at best you can get, based on the title, all we have is an empty pot. So the time comes that every child needs to come back and present what they have grown to the emperor. And as they're coming up to the palace, they all have these bright, beautiful flowers. Even one of his friends says, like, oh man, you're so good at growing flowers. What happened? Look at my flower that I grew. And so his father convinces him that, you did the best you can, and that's good enough for the emperor. You still need to take your pot back. And so the little boy takes his pot back. That's not him. He's over here. That's his best friend. Anyways, he takes his pot back, and you can see here, and I don't know if you can tell very well, but the emperor is frowning. He is not happy when he is presented with all these beautiful flowers, because what they did not know, and what you find out, is that the emperor actually baked the seeds or burned the seeds or something, did something to them to make them not be able to grow. And so all these children, he said, I don't know how you all got flowers, because this should not have happened. And then he smiles when he sees this little boy with an empty pot. And the little boy says, the emperor says, why did you bring me an empty pot? He says, I planted the seed you gave me, and I watered it every day, and I took care of it. I did everything I could, but nothing happened. So today I bring you an empty pot without a flower, and it was the best that I could do. And the emperor says, this is it. This is the boy who's going to take my spot, because it took a lot of courage and a lot of honesty to present this empty pot. And he was the only one in all the land who was actually honest and, did what he could and didn't basically fake the challenge. So he gets to be emperor. Adorable story. Love teaching this book about, even though we do our best, it might not always be, the results that we want. But as long as we stand up and we are honest about what we did, and are honest with ourselves and are honest with others, good things are going to come from that. And so the overall theme that I teach with this book, of course, is honesty. I can also slide in a secondary theme of courage as well, because it took a lot of courage for the little boy to stand up to the emperor, talk to the emperor, and present this empty pot with them as well. So great story to teach the theme of honesty. All right, my last one. It might be one of my favorites as well. Again, I already said that, but you know me. This one is called Spork. A book about a spork, right? I mean, come on. It's adorable. So this little spork, and he is confused. He doesn't really fit in. He kind of stands out. He doesn't know where he belongs. He doesn't feel like he has a purpose. He's not pointy enough to be a fork. He's not round enough to be a spoon. He tries to pick a side, basically, right? Here he's trying to be a spoon. Here he's trying to be more like a fork. He really doesn't know where he belongs or how to be accepted into his whole role, basically. So, but then one day, and I love it because you can make some really good inferences here. One day, a new person comes along that makes a crazy mess, right? Makes a crazy, crazy mess. The forks don't like it, like the new character, because I can't remember exactly why. The spoons don't like him, the forks don't like him, but, dun, 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 the spork actually comes to save the day. It ends up being a baby. You can see the baby's outline and stuff at the end. But the spork finally finds his purpose, and he's finally accepted in with all of the other utensils, because he now has a purpose, and that fits the purpose that the other utensils can't do, because the fork was too pointy, the spoon was too something, I can't remember, but the spork fills his purpose, and he is accepted into the utensil culture, I guess. And so here you can see the baby outline with holding the spork proudly. But it is an adorable story. There you go. There's the baby as well. It says, and that's how the spork finally and happily found his way to the table. So it's an adorable story about finding your purpose, fulfilling your purpose, and accepting who you are, but also finding acceptance among others as well. So acceptance is the theme that I teach with this story. And like I said, who would not want to read a book about a spork, because it's adorable. So definitely grab this one. Okay, so I know that was super fast, but I want to make sure that I'm short and sweet tonight to allow you to have your time, because I know a lot of you are gearing up for your last few days this week if you don't have to teach next week. So I just presented to you 5 different books that I would use to teach theme in the classroom. And your freebie tonight, don't forget the very first page has all of the books that I just presented. It has a synopsis of the theme and the story as well. And then each of the titles are clickable. That way, if you don't have the book, you can go in, click, and it'll take you right to Amazon to allow you to grab the book and get that book in your classroom because you need it. And so your freebie tonight, I made 3 different theme graphic organizers. These can be used with any of the books, and there are 3 of them because they are differentiated. So the first one you will use with your lower students, the middle ones with your more on-level students, and the third one with your higher students. So let's look at those real quick. So the first one, it just says understanding theme. It's very basic. Basically, the students are going to identify the theme in the top box. They're going to find 3 different pieces of evidence to support it. And at the bottom, they're going to make a connection to the theme. How do they connect to that theme in their own life? So it's very basic, okay? The second one goes a little bit more in depth. Again, identify the theme at the top, find 3 pieces of evidence, and then I want them to explain the evidence. This helps support when you're having students write out open-ended answers and you want them to use text evidence, but you want them to go beyond the text evidence and explain what that evidence is actually showing and how that answers the question, right? You want them to go further. That's what they're doing in these boxes down here. So I found this great evidence, and then this evidence shows me that, ... and that's what they're doing here. They're explaining. So it takes it a step further than the graphic organizer before. And then the last one is for your more advanced students because they're finding 2 themes. So here, what is the main theme? Give me evidence. And then what is the secondary theme? Give me evidence for that. You can kind of do the same on here on the bottom boxes where they explain. You can have students try to explain the evidence as well in here if you want. Or they could do that as an extension on the back or on a page of notebook paper or something. But have them look for 2 themes. What would be the main theme? What would be the secondary theme? And then find evidence for both. So you get all 3 of your graphic organizers, plus, of course, your main page with all of the books we went over today. All you have to do is comment below and say, I want the freebie, and I'll send you the link. So that's that. All right, friends. So I know that tonight was super quick. I wanted to make sure it was. So thank you so much for joining. And next week, Wednesday, I will not be live because it's the night before Thanksgiving. And I know all you will be busy. I will be busy. So we'll pick this up the week after. And you are not going to want to miss it because I've got some great things up my sleeve that I will be announcing very, very soon. And you are going to want to be here for it. So thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions about theme, if you need theme resources, if you need a blog post to read about theme, let me know. I've got all kinds of things that I can share with you. Just drop me a comment and let me know what you need. And I hope tonight's video was helpful. So have a great Thanksgiving because I will not be live. But another time before then, have a great Thanksgiving and I will talk to you all later. Bye.